Hello again, and welcome back to my art channel. If you're new here, my name is Arden. I do art stuff, and today, if you couldn't already tell by the title, we are drawing a mermaid for MerMay. So today is the first day of MerMay, and if you don't already know, MerMay is basically an art challenge where you draw a mermaid every day during the month of May, hence MerMay. Fun how language works. Anyway, this doesn't actually count as my mermaid drawing for today because I did do it a couple of days ago, but I wanted to get a video out and I wanted to do this. So this year I want to attempt MerMay for the first time ever. I only first heard about MerMay a couple of years ago, and I did draw a mermaid in the month of May in 2016, but it was just the one and I didn't do any other mermaids besides that. But this year I'm kind of in a place where I feel like I could do it, so I'm gonna try, because you never do anything if you don't try. So here, this is sort of just a practice for this challenge because, again, didn't actually draw this in May, so it doesn't count. I actually had a lot of fun with this piece, not really planning it out from beginning to end. It was sort of an exploration in what I could do with digital watercolors, because I do want to try more watercolor in real life in the future, but I kind of wanted to explore it in this digital medium first, just to, try my hand at it, see where I could take it, and sort of get used to that whole look. And I have tried to work with digital watercolors in the past, but that was before I really had much experience doing traditional watercolors, and I feel like I have sort of a better grasp of how it works now that I've done a little bit of painting traditionally and not just digitally. Oh, and one thing I want to mention is that I am using the curated MerMay brush pack from Kyle T. Webster for these scales, and I wanted to use more of the brushes in there, but I ended up not really liking many of them. I think this is one of the hair brushes from that pack. I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can save all these brushes if you are part of the Adobe Creative Cloud. I didn't really have a plan for how I wanted this image to turn out when I was going in. I just knew I wanted to draw a mermaid, but I didn't have any sort of concept of what I wanted the finished product to look like. So at this point, I kind of started going in over top of everything and just sort of painting over, softening the edges, giving it more of a painterly style rather than a colored line work style. And I really like the way it turned out. It took me a moment to settle into this method because I've never really done this before. Usually I decide pretty early on, okay, this is going to be line art and color, or okay, this is gonna be totally painted, and I don't really switch between the two, but this time I wanted to give it a shot. And I really like the effect that it ended up doing, the effect that it ended up with. What is grammar? It's like 11:15 at night when I'm recording this voiceover because this was the only chance that I really had. in order to get this up on time. And I actually wanted to get this up today, Monday, instead of Tuesday, but here we are. Anyway, I really like the way that her face turned out with this sort of painted over top of the line work style. And I didn't go through the entire thing and paint over all of the line art, mostly because I just wanted to get this done pretty quickly so that I could get this out as soon as possible, but also because I wanted to really bring the focus in on her face. I didn't want to spend too much time on the little details in the lower part of her body because that's not where I wanted the focus to be. So I focused on the face. So one of my goals for MerMay is to explore more mediums and also to put out more videos. And obviously I'm not going to be putting out a video every single day in May because that is too much. I cannot make an art video every single day. No. And especially if I'm not counting this as my mermaid for the 1st. Because I wanted to get this video up on April 30th rather than May 1st. But besides that, I didn't draw this on the 1st, and the whole point is you draw a mermaid every day. So I will be drawing a mermaid every day in May, and I'll be posting them to my Instagram and probably my Twitter also. So go follow me over there if you want to keep tabs on me every day, and I'll probably be filming and screen capturing the process of most, if not all of them, if I can. And what I'm hoping to do is do sort of a weekly summary every week of all of the mermaids. And I'm hoping to make those sort of like bonus videos. So if I can manage it, I'll do the mermaid video and then another video every week. So we'll see. I'm not going to make any promises, but those are my hopes and dreams for this month. As you can see, I ended up just sort of redoing her entire hair by painting over it. Like, it looks the same. It's following what I set out in my line art, which I guess is more like a sketch layer at this point because I painted over it. But I do like the effect of like breaking out of that line art. And I did find at a certain point, the fact that her top half was sort of painted over for a lot of it made the bottom half look a little flat, and it's looking like that right now. I would say this is one of the less flattering stages until I start adding in the shadows. And I think adding in the shadows and the light really are what made this work. And I do go in later and do I do a curves adjustment layer over top of the figure, and I think that helps a lot with the colors. But for the most part, again, just sort of going in, not really having a plan. I chose some pink shadows because I wanted to do like a weird green light. So those are opposites, and I guess the whole theory behind that in color theory is that when you've got a light of one color, the things that are in shadow are blocking that color light, so it's not gonna look like that. But I guess it could also be like the other color of light is shining opposite. Maybe. I mean, in this piece specifically, not in the color theory. Anyway, I like the way the lighting turned out in this piece. I think it looks cool, so I'm happy with it. And for the background, I was playing around with some of the brushes in that MerMay curated brush pack. I used the wavy background brush for those wavy bits in the background, and the twisting sea plant for those twisty looking sea plants. And I do go in and use more of them later. But first I wanted to sort of finish off the figure with the highlights. One of my favorite parts in finishing a drawing or a painting is adding the highlights on the eyes, because I feel like that's really when the drawing comes alive, or when the painting comes alive. Because before you have those highlights, the eyes look sort of like weird and matte and dead. But once you add those little shines there, that's when it's just sort of like, oh yes, this figure is alive. It's real. The eyes are shiny, and yeah. And that's when it all sort of comes together, I think. Yeah, here I'm playing around with some of the brushes in that pack. We've got some bubbles going on. I wasn't really liking the way that it looked until I put the bubbles on a layer in front of the figure, because then that was like, okay, yes, she's actually a part of this picture. She's not just weirdly floating in front of everything, because there are things in front of her. And in the end, this is what it looks like. Oh yeah, and I brought in some of the shadow and the light colors into the background to sort of meld everything together. And I don't think it's the best piece that I've ever done, but it's good. I'm happy with it. It's good for what it is. And as soon as I finish off this little light ball and sign it, here is the finished piece. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Hit the notification bell so YouTube will let you know when I put them out, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter to see my mermaid drawings this month. Thanks guys, see you next time. Bye.